Welcome to the Eagle League's Coaching Strategies video. First, I want to say thank you for your interest in volunteering your time and effort into these programs. Great coaches are the cornerstone of a great program, so we want to share some thoughts and strategies to help us along the way to ensure we're providing a great program for our children. You may be wondering what qualifies me to be able to lead this Coaching Strategies video. Well, you may have not heard, but I am the best coach ever. See, it says so right here. Dear Coach Josiah, thank you for a wonderful season of basketball. You are the best coach ever. Thank you. Now, I'm obviously not the best coach ever, but I was to this one child in their one season. They walked away thinking I was a great coach, and you can take that perspective into each and every one of your players that you're going to end up coaching. Each child is going to be needed to be coached a little bit different, so just focusing in on what that child needs to excel. And I didn't do anything special. This particular young lady was a middle school girl in a basketball rec program. I encouraged the things she was doing well. I praised her effort, and I tried to help her along the way as I could. Also tried to create a great team atmosphere where we had a lot of fun and she could be able to play free and just have a great time. I've been coaching at AACS for a little over 10 years. In the past few years, I've done a lot of research into what a great youth sports program is, what a good youth sports coach might look like, good youth sports parenting tactics and strategies, and it all comes down to giving youth sports back to the kids. And these programs are focused on exactly that. The children's best interests are at the core of these programs. We're going to talk a little bit about a study which really focused in on what makes sports fun for children.
The study is called the Fun Integration Theory towards Sustaining Children and Adolescents' Sport Participation. And they came up with fun determinants, which we're going to look at and how they relate to our Eagle Leagues. Being a good sport was the number one. In Eagle Leagues, we're going to have a season-long focus on honoring the sport, having fun, respecting everyone, and always giving 100%. After each practice, coaches will lead a 15-minute life lesson discussion by asking a series of questions provided by the Eagle Leagues. Coaches are mainly responsible for ensuring every child has the chance to speak, which will mean sometimes calling on children by name to give them that chance, as some children will be more reserved and not as open to speaking up. The life lessons are respect, effort, joy, love, integrity, courage with confidence, perseverance, empathy, excellence, humility, and service. You can check out all those questions on our website. Players, parents, and coaches will meet together after each game to celebrate the competition, and the coach will pick 1 to 2 captains for the upcoming week who exemplified the previous week's life lesson. This will help reinforce children to learn and behave and really understand that those life lessons are meaningful and help them act with strong moral character. The second fun determinant was trying hard. Coaches should be focusing on effort and not the outcome. The process of sport is more important than the final product. There are no standings, no playoffs, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't still try and win every game you play. Losing is not the end of the world, and having them fail at times is a good thing so they can learn from those mistakes. So always remember to praise and encourage effort. The third fun determinant was positive coaching. We're going to cover our coaching pledge later, which will go into this determinant in a lot more detail. The fourth was learning and improving. Players will be evaluated before the season, at the mid-season, and then at the end of the season. AACS upper school teams will run the preseason clinics, and you as an Eagle League coach will be responsible for filling out those preseason evaluations. Those will then go to the players on the first week of practice, and then those evaluations will be filled out again during the middle of the season by the Eagle League's coach based on their performance in practices and games. All the evaluations are on the coaches page of our website. These evaluations for each sport are based on 10 areas of athleticism so they can understand their body more as a whole and how to develop their athletic abilities. The fifth fun determinant is game time support. Parents and refs will be required to sign a pledge focused around a positive game day experience. You can check out both the parent pledge and the ref pledge by going to our website. The sixth fun determinant is games. Children love playing in games, and we will be following a structured substitution sheet for every game which will ensure all players receive equal playing time throughout the season. And these substitution sheets are based on player rankings so that it will maximize equal matchups so that they can have fun playing against players of similar ability levels. The seventh fun determinant is practices. Practices have been designed with maximal participation and movement to keep the kids exercising, moving, and engaged to enjoy their practice. These practice plans will be provided to all coaches to ensure that they are not burdened by the volunteering role they are taking on with their already busy schedules. There will be an easy-to-follow minute-to-minute plan, and there will also be a video resource where you can check and see what all each of those games, activities, and drills look like on video. And it will take about 10 minutes to review everything and be able to run an effective practice. The eighth fun determinant is team friendships. Every Eagle Leagues practice will have a team building game at the beginning to help break down barriers so that relationships can grow. There's something special about team sports, and the friendships are really what make it. We are excited to see the friendships flourish through Eagle Leagues. The ninth fun determinant was mental bonuses, specifically keeping a positive attitude, which our coaches will ensure by being positive themselves and just making a positive atmosphere for the team. Winning. There will be winners on Saturdays, and it's exciting to win a game, and that's great, but it won't be the full focus. They'll have the chance to relieve stress simply by being active and ignoring the score. As we talked about, make sure that you make the process more important than the final product. The 10th fun determinant is team rituals. Coaches and players will come up with a team name during the first practice and be encouraged to come up with the team cheer. Although, I will say it's tough to top mine because my last name is Wolf, so my teams are the Wolf Pack. Here's a little clip from my mentor group at AACS.
What's the strength of the wolf? The pack! The what? The pack! The what? The pack! 1, 2, 3, Wolf Pack!
The 11th fun determinant is swag. Families will be able to purchase gear through an online fan shop through Dick's Sports, and all participants will receive a jersey and coaches a polo. These will help us look good as we have fun. Now we're going to talk some on our coaches pledge, breaking down each item. The first being committing to the values of Eagle Leagues and fostering a positive atmosphere where players will have fun, being active, improving, and learning how to impact the world for good. This is our mission, and we are excited to see it lived out. Next is ensuring there is an opening and closing prayer for every practice and game. We want children to know that we are religious and that God is a big part of our lives. A prayer can sound something like this. Dear Lord, we thank you for being such an amazing God. We thank you for all these young boys or girls here today. Please help us to have fun, to grow in relationship with each other, to get better each and every day. We just thank you for these able bodies being able to be out here playing this great sport. We thank you for everything again and give it in your glorious name. Amen. It doesn't always have to be the head coach that can pray. It can be the assistant, or if you want to ask some of the players to volunteer and pray, that's great as well. You just need to make sure it happens. Next is greeting each player by name as they arrive for every practice and game. The team building game to start your first practice will be to help you get to know everybody's name. And from there, you want to make sure that you greet them by name and call them by their name as often as possible. Next is modeling the life lessons that you will be teaching. Respect, effort, joy, love, integrity, courage and confidence, perseverance, empathy, excellence with humility, and service. It's very important that they see what these look like in action from you, the coach. Next is encouraging your players to be grateful for their God-given abilities. The opening and closing prayer will help this, but also help them to understand that they are blessed to be out there on the field playing it all, and there's lots of children that don't have this opportunity, so that they should be grateful for the opportunities they've been given. Next is ensuring maximal participation and movement in practices. If you follow the practice plan you've been provided, this will happen automatically. If you want to deviate, that's fine. Just make sure there aren't any long single file lines or very long instruction where the kids lose attention anyway and aren't going to get anything out of it. Next is following and enforcing the standard cheer for your teammates, not against your opponents or the calls or no calls. Unfortunately, the culture of youth sports goes against this in pretty much every sports arena, but we can stand up against it, go against the flow, and create our own atmosphere of positivity. Next is ensuring you do the team building game provided on your practice plan to help start each practice so they can grow together as a team. Next is giving each player the preseason, midseason, and final evaluations. You will fill out a preseason evaluation for a number of players. They may not end up being on your team, but you will get the evaluations for the members of your team to hand on their first practice. Based on their practices and games, you'll then fill out a midseason and give it to them so that they can know where they have improved and be encouraged, and where they need to improve and be motivated. The very last week of the season, you will give them their final evaluations to show and reinforce the improvement they have gained. Next is valuing each player equally and teaching them to treat each other with respect as equals. The best player on your team is no more important than the worst player and should not be given more attention or more praise. Make sure you try and give every child on your team equal attention and encouragement. Next is using encouragement and positive reinforcement as your primary method to help your players grow and improve. The full study of this is on our website, but the ideal praise to criticism ratio has been found to be 5.6 to 1, meaning you should be encouraging and praising your players 5.6 times for every one time you correct something from them or say anything negative at all. For a child shooting a free throw as an example, you could say something along the lines of, "Nice job keeping your feet shoulder-width apart. You were nice and balanced. Great job also keeping your elbow in and really focusing in on the rim as you take your shot. This time, try following through a little bit more by snapping your wrist and hold it up there for a couple seconds after you shoot. Watch them shoot again and then say something like, 'Oh, much better. Way to go. Keep up the great work.' By following this ratio, your teams will actually perform at higher levels because the positive atmosphere will help them play free, play well, and love their time playing, and we are so excited for Eagle Leagues to foster this environment. Next is teaching your players the 3 F's in failure. Flush away the pain of the mistake, fix it by recognizing what you did wrong, and focus on doing it right the next time. Teach them that failure is an opportunity to get better, so they shouldn't get depressed, but excited about the improvement they can show by flushing away that pain and really focusing on doing it right next time. This is such a great life lesson, as we're going to fail so many times in life, and we need to be able to flush away that pain and be able to focus on doing it right next time. To not be burdened down and have all the anxiety weigh us down, but be able to play free, have fun, and not worry about messing up. Because when we worry about messing up, we're going to end up playing worse anyway. But when we can play free and learn to flush away the pain of mistakes and focus in on doing it right, we're going to have such a better time and a better experience. Next is reminding your players to point and pick up in scoring and when someone is down. I learned of this one from Coach Scheid, the boys varsity basketball coach at AACS, who brought it from his previous school he was at. But using basketball as an example, if someone shoots and scores, they're going to point to the person that passed them the ball, while the person that passed them the ball is going to point to them who scored, and acknowledge each other's part in the play, and really just show that it's a team effort as they're going about playing. The picking up refers to picking up a player who has fallen. A lot of times there's a break in action when someone is down, so everybody on the court should go run to that player and help them get up so they aren't having to get up on their own. No matter if they're on your team or the opposing team, you always want to run and help them up. Next is understanding you're calling out your players in front of the whole team is usually not as effective as pulling them aside and talking to them. If it's in a game, maybe it's during a timeout that you talk to them. If it's in practice, maybe it's a break in the action, or maybe you stop the action and talk to them. But yelling at them in front of everybody is usually going to hurt the feelings of that player, and they may end up going into a shell instead of continuing to play free, which is the atmosphere we want. The next one we touched on earlier, but make sure that every player has a chance to speak during every life lesson discussion. This means you might need to call on them by name and ask for their opinion or their answer to the question. A lot of players will be a little reserved at the beginning of the season especially, but if they can all get used to talking around each other, they'll be able to be playing better as a team, but also feel more comfortable alongside each other and just have a better time and a better team sport experience. Next is making sure you mail the postcards which you will be given to each of your players on their birthday. You'll get a spreadsheet with all their birth dates, so I encourage you to plug them into your phone to make sure you know when to mail those postcards out. All you'll need to do is say, "Dear," whatever the child's name is, "happy birthday, hope it's a great one," or something along those lines. It doesn't need to be anything too lengthy, but just show that you're taking the time and caring and thinking about them on their special day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this Eagle Leagues Coaching Strategies video. We hope you're excited to be a coach for our Eagle Leagues and feel equipped to be a positive coach and make a difference in these young children's lives. I'm so excited you're a part of the team, and please know that I'm always here to help as needed. Whatever you need, just reach out to me and we can make this process as easy as possible for you and beneficial as possible to your players. I'm really excited to see what the Lord has in store for the Eagle Leagues. Thank you so much for dedicating your time, love, and energy to our programs.